It's a rumor, a legend, a mystery. Is Disney's Anastasia a true story? Did the real Anastasia survive? Did you know that the beloved childhood musical film was released exactly 25 years ago? That's right, we're this old. Come on, the movie turned out just gorgeous, and that's why, a quarter century after the premiere, we still remember the wonderful songs and the utterly romantic Disney story of Anya and Dimitri. I guess all of you know that the plot is based on real-life events. Well, not entirely, obviously, yet the key protagonist, Anastasia Nikolaevna, the Grand Duchess or the Grand Princess of the former Russian royal family, certainly existed. But what if I tell you that the cartoon is not based on her true story at all? In fact, it is still a fictionalized version of someone else's real-life events that happened at the epoch. Watch this video to the end to see how it all became possible.
Oh no, not me. No, nobody ever told me I had to prove I was the Grand Duchess.
Look.
Anastasia, her name in Russian sounds Anastasia Nikolaevna Romanova. She was the youngest of the four daughters of the Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandra Fyodorovna. Nicholas was the first cousin to the English king George V and many other European monarchs. In fact, his last ethnically Russian ancestor was the daughter of Peter the Great, who lived almost 200 years earlier. Anastasia's mother, Alexandra, born as the German princess Alex of Hesse, was one of the granddaughters of the famous English Queen Victoria. Interestingly, she is totally absent from the movie. Perhaps this is due to the fact that there was a silent rivalry between her and the Dowager, Nicholas's mother, who was extremely popular among Russian people, while Alexandra was reportedly very shy and closed herself off from the society. Apart from Olga, Tatiana, Maria, Anastasia also had a younger brother, Alexei, the heir apparent to the throne. Courtiers and friends of the family remembered Anastasia as a short, blonde-haired girl, a vivacious and energetic child who was a joy to the house. Her tutors described her as a lively, mischievous and a gifted actress whose sharp, witty remarks sometimes hit sensitive spots. These traits are all present in the movie character indeed.
But I appreciate your apology.
Apology? Who said anything about an apology?
Back to the film. It starts in 1916 with the Grand Ball in the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, then the capital of the vast empire. The voice of Anastasia's grandmother, the Dowager Empress Maria Feodorovna, tells us the purely fictional story of the end of the era and the last happy day of the country.
There was a time, not very long ago, when we lived in an enchanted world of elegant palaces and grand parties.
In fact, her Russian accent in the movie is somewhat exaggerated. Although she was Danish by origin and mastered the language in the years after her marriage, it is however known that the family and kids used to speak English with her and their mother, and actually used Russian only when talking with their father. Anyways, the glory of the evening is spoiled by Rasputin, who claims to have been neglected and banished by the royal family, and this way puts a curse on the Romanov line so that no one could survive the deathly circumstances.
Mark my words, you and your family will die within a fortnight. I will not rest until I see the end of the Romanov line forever!
This was rather daring liberty from the screenwriters. In fact, it has nothing to do with what was actually going on between the real Rasputin and the imperial family. His story is also super interesting, so I guess I'll come up with a separate video for that. Perhaps they thought that the scary image of the spiritual mystic was a perfect match for a villain in the movie. I had to disagree, right? Moreover, the physical portrayal was rather accurate, don't you think? So this whole storyline was all invented to add drama and scare us kids. But not too much, obviously, hence this cute little Bartok and his jokes about the master.
I'm a wreck!
Actually, considering how long you've been dead, you look pretty good.
In the film, the Dowager says that they were celebrating the 300th anniversary of the Romanovs as a sovereign family, which in reality happened 3 years earlier, in February 1913. Amazingly, the designers and the artists did a great job drafting real-life ancient Russian-style costumes that everyone wore on that occasion. By the way, would you love to learn more about that fashion side of the story? Let me know in the comments and I'll think of a separate video essay to cover that too. The musical suggests that Anastasia is 8 years old at the moment of the ball. In reality, she was born in 1901, so she must have been 15 in 1916. But again, it's just a cartoon, isn't it? Obviously, the screenwriters combined multiple events and occasions in one place for the sake of the drama.
Tell me, child, what do you see?
I see a skinny little nobody with no past and no future.
I see an engaging and fiery young woman who on a number of occasions has shown a regal command equal to any royal in the world.
Now to what really happened to them. Attention alert to sensitive persons and everyone who still wants to believe in miracles and better not know the cruel part of the story. You may now quickly skip to the next chapter where I tell you who in fact was Anya. Okay, I hope I'm not alone here now. Anybody? Well, I'm extremely sensitive too, yet there's gotta be someone who will tell you the truth. In reality, nothing serious happened in 1916. However, a year later there was the so-called February Revolution and Romanovs were imprisoned. The civil war was unfolding in the whole country between those Reds, communists and the Whites who tried to defend the past. Thousands of people were shot dead because of their noble origins or other than proletarian occupation or simply loyalty and even sympathy to the Tsar. Many of them tried to escape, including the relatives of the royal family, yet most of them failed. The Dowager Empress was in fact the one who survived that outrageous massacre, just like a couple of minor royals. Unfortunately, the imperial family didn't have that opportunity, even though the Tsar voluntarily abdicated. On the night of the 17th of July 1918, the whole family, their faithful servants and their dogs, were brutally killed in the basement of a house in Yekaterinburg. Their bodies were destroyed, and all that was kept secret from the public by the official authorities up until the end of the Soviet era in the 1980s, late 1980s. Only Alexis Penil-Joy survived to be rescued by a British officer, Colonel Paul Rodzanko, and he lived out his final days in Windsor. Now, when the light was shed at the archives, you may actually reconstruct the sequence of events that were taking place up to the last minute. The diaries of the Tsarina and the Tsar, which they kept until the last hours, reveal what they felt in those months, and the fact that they couldn't even imagine there was going to be no future for any one of them. The Wikipedia entry on the execution of the Romanov family contains every little detail, so you may read those dreadful records if you are sure you are emotionally stable enough to do that. I also recommend you the alexanderpalace.org website for memoirs, photos and other records of those last years of empire and the imperial family. You'll find all the links in the description. It's really hard even to pronounce all that, yet that was the true reality of Anastasia's family, sad and extremely unjust destiny. Obviously, it's hard to imagine anyone would decide to put that as a plot for a children's movie. However, since the execution was made undercover and kept secret, no one knew what happened and if anyone has survived. Rumors, legends and mysteries invaded the papers and people's minds all over Europe, when suddenly a woman who called herself Anna emerged in Germany. She was claiming that she was the Grand Duchess Anastasia, who actually survived. Imagine how tempting it was to believe in this miraculous salvation. No wonder she attracted much attention from the surviving royals, Dowager Empress including.
It's a perfect ending.
No, it's a perfect beginning.
In the next video, I will uncover the true life events that were actually taken as a plot for the Anastasia musical film. Just like in the movie, we will jump to the 1920s and you will get to know that real Anya, and we'll also clarify the story of the crowd's favorite crush Dimitri. Please subscribe to my channel not to miss the next part. Bye bye!